This book is really exciting, and I'm really glad we're reading it. All right, so now we are on chapter 9. The title is called The Treasure. Wow. The last chapter was a cliffhanger, and I was so excited. If you remember, he was in the cave and he wished he had never even searched for the coins. He's gotten himself into a real predicament, and he's stuck. And he doesn't know if anybody knows where he is. Hopefully, Sam figures it out. All right, here we go. Chapter 9, The Treasure. Sam's nose smelled the morning before his eyes opened to see it. The unmistakable aroma of breakfast on the campfire cut through the cool air and wafted into the tent. His stomach growled loudly, and he crawled out of his sleeping bag and unzipped the tent flap. His dad was cooking eggs and sausage over the fire. "Good morning, Sleeping Beauty." "Morning," Sam answered. "I'm starving." The smell of sausages was making his mouth water. He looked around and added, "Where's Derek?" "I'm not sure, actually. He was out of the tent when I woke up. I don't like him going on a hike by himself without even telling me. Not this far into the woods. I mean, I was getting ready to go look for him. Did he tell you where he was going?" Sam looked at his dad, then back at the tent. "Sam, is there something you need to tell me?" "Well, Sam, where is your brother?" "Well, it's kind of a long story, Dad." Then he explained all that happened with the coins, the secret compartment, the map, and the boulder. His dad's eyes opened wider and wider as Sam told his story. "I don't understand why you didn't tell me about all this, Sam. You showed me the wheat penny. Why did the rest of it have to be such a big secret?" "Derek said it would be cooler if we found the treasure all by ourselves," Sam tried to explain. Now that he said it out loud, it didn't sound like such a great idea. He knew he should have told his dad, no matter what Derek said. "If your brother is hunting around an abandoned mine, that is very dangerous, Sam. Mine passageways are notorious for collapsing. I'm trying to let you guys have some freedom to explore the woods on your own, but I need to be able to trust you to do the right thing and tell me things like this. And I expect your brother to know better than to go into a mine. Let's get this food put away quickly and we can go look for him before it's too late." Sam felt horrible. He didn't want to betray his brother's or his dad's trust. He thought back to what their mom had said about Patrick Henry and his "give me liberty" or "give me death" speech. He was glad that his dad had let them have some freedom, some liberty, but he prayed that Derek was okay. Meanwhile, Derek lay trapped under the rubble, deep inside the cave, surrounded by the treasure of coins, trying not to think about his throbbing foot. It was ironic. That was a word he'd heard his parents and his teachers use. He thought it meant that things were the opposite of what you think they should be. That's right. It was ironic that he was there next to the missing coins, yet he really didn't care. He was lost and only wanted to get home. Sam wondered how long he'd been stuck in the cave. It seemed like hours, maybe even days. It was so hard to tell in the dark. He wished he'd brought his watch with him from the tent. He started to imagine what he saw, or that he saw the coins dancing around him through the chilly air, but he knew it was just his mind playing tricks on him. He was getting really thirsty. Derek thought of his old home and how he never would have had to worry about getting trapped in a cave there. Maybe hit by a truck standing on the busy street corner waiting for the bus, but no caves. He tried to decide which was a better way to go, getting hit by a Mack truck or dying of thirst in a dark cave. Why did they have to move to stupid Virginia anyhow? Right about that time, Derek was imagining his death. He heard a noise. He tried to focus. He held his breath and listened. There it was again. It sounded like voices. "Help! Down here! Help!" Derek screamed as loud as he could. His cries echoed through the cave. It seemed like the voices were getting closer, but it was hard to tell. "Help!" he cried one last time. Hey, I think it's coming from over here, a voice said in the distance. Wow, where did that hole come from? I've never seen that before, came another voice. Look, there's a tunnel. Down here! I'm down here! Yelled Derek. The sounds of climbing and scuffling through dirt and rocks came from above Derek's head until he finally saw a light at the top of the hole he'd fallen into. Down here, he called. Alex, look at that, said one voice as a bright light blinded Derek's eyes. Dude, what are you doing down here? The voice said. Wow, Henry, look at all those coins. A boy's head appeared in the light at the top of the hole. As the light filled the surrounding space, Derek could see he had dark curly hair that fell down over his ears and wore glasses. My leg's stuck under the rocks and I can't move it, moaned Derek. I think it's broken. I fell down here when the ledge broke through. The first boy, Alex, climbed carefully down into the hole and moved his light onto Derek's leg. Man, that's gotta hurt. Let me see if I can move that rock. He reached down and tried to roll one of the larger rocks to the side. Pain ripped through Derek's body and he screamed out in agony, Stop! Stop! I don't think I can lift it, said Alex. It's too heavy. Go get my dad, pleaded Derek, tears rolling down his cheeks. He'll know what to do. He described where they'd been camping over in the field on the north side of the creek. Alex agreed to run off and get help. The other boy said he would stay with Derek. When Alex left the cave, the younger boy climbed back to the edge of the shelf and looked down at Derek. I know who you are, he said. You do? Derek had been so worried about his leg, he hadn't thought about who these kids were. Yeah, you were climbing up there on the mine rock a few weeks ago with another kid. Alex and I tried to come over and talk to you with Bear, but two of you raced off like the devil was chasing you. We followed you all the way to the edge of your yard, but didn't come in. You live in the house next to Old Man Haskins, right? I'm Henry, by the way. That was my brother, Alex. Yeah, that's where we live. Derek tried to piece this new information together in his head. Everything was cloudy after lying in the cave for so long. Did you say that you have a bear? Yeah, Bear, that's our dog. He's a Newfoundland. He's so big and black that everyone just calls him Bear. Oh, Derek suddenly felt dumb. He wondered why he and Sam had run away in the first place. You thought that was a real bear? Asked Henry. That's ridiculous. Henry shined his flashlight over to the pile of coins spilling out of the box. So, did you rob a bank or something? Why are you down here with all those coins? Can I see one? Derek handed a coin up and Henry examined it carefully under his light. Holy mackerel! That's an 1877 Indian head cent. I have an extensive coin collection, but I've never seen one of these in person before. Do you have any idea how much that's worth? It's extremely rare. Yeah, it's kind of a long story, answered Derek, and he explained to Henry all that had happened. That's unbelievable. You're like Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Great movie. Except for the part when all the bad guys' faces melted away. You're not like that. The part where he found the gold statue. That was awesome. You're going to be famous. Derek laughed, which felt really good. He realized how scared he had been when no one knew where he was. It was nice to have Henry there to talk with, even though he hardly knew him. He was funny, and it was strange that he and Alex were the kids that they'd been running from only a few weeks before. Derek! A voice echoed down into the passageway. It was his dad. Derek breathed a huge sigh of relief. Phew! Henry hopped up and ran over to the entrance of the chamber. We're in here! Suddenly the chamber was full of noise and activity as his dad, Sam, and Alex bounded into the space. His dad's face looked worried when it appeared in the light at the top of the hole. Derek, are you okay? His dad swung his legs through the opening and lowered himself down. Where are you stuck? Derek pointed to his leg and groaned. We couldn't move the rocks, Alex shouted down. It really hurts, Dad. His dad looked over the rocks and took a few moments to assess the situation. Then he stood and called up to the others. Alex, come down here next to me. I think if we both lift this rock together, It will move enough for Derek to slide his leg out. I'll do my best, sir, said Alex, and he slid back down into the hole. His dad positioned himself next to Derek's head so he could have room to lift, and Alex squatted on the other side. Okay, Derek, when we lift the rock, you pull out your leg. Ready? Derek nodded, and his dad glanced up at Alex. Okay, 1, 2, 3. They both grunted and strained at the rock. It lifted a couple inches off the pile. Derek felt the grip on his leg loosen, and he pulled it out with a shout. He's clear, set it down, said his dad, and they dropped the big rock down with a crack. His dad bent down and hugged Derek tight and then looked at his leg under the light. When he gently put his hand on Derek's foot and tried to move it, Derek screamed, I think it's broken. It might be, answered Dad, but I think you'll be all right. We'll have to carry you out of here. He let out a relieved sigh, wiped his forehead, and sat next to Derek on a rock. He shined his flashlight over to the pile of coins that had spilled out from the metal box and raised his eyebrow. So, son, what you got here? Derek picked up the coin he'd looked at before. Look, Dad, it's an 1877 Indian head cent. Can you believe it? Actually, I can, his dad admitted. Sam filled me in on what you two been up to lately. I'm glad you're safe, but after we get you out of here, we're going to have a talk about some of the choices you're making when you go off on your own. Derek touched his sore leg and looked down at the ground sheepishly. He rolled a coin across the dirt and looked up. I know. I'm sorry, Dad. Thanks for coming. What are you going to do with all these coins? Yelled Sam, leaning over the hole from above. Just look at all the treasure. Somebody call the newspaper. Call the governor. We're rich. Let's work on getting Derek out of here before we alert the press, answered their dad. Come on, let's get home, and then we can think about what to do with these coins. Dude, you're going to be a star, cheered Alex as they helped Derek to his feet. Derek smiled weakly, looked up at his dad as he raised him from the hole. A grounded star. You think he's going to get grounded? I think if I was his dad, I probably would ground him because I would be so scared, wondering where my son was. That's the end of the chapter. I told you it was kind of exciting, but now I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, they've got the treasure, going home. I want to find out for sure whether or not Derek's leg is broken. And now what? What should they do? What do you think they should do? We'll find out next time.